I'm going to start today's message with a parable that's said to be from the Sioux Nation, which I feel summarizes the entire message, everything that I've brought forth. It's a good summary. So one day the Creator gathered all of creation and said, I want to hide something from the humans until they are ready for it. It's the realization that they create their own reality. And so the eagle said, give it to me, I'll take it to the moon. And the Creator responded, no, they'll eventually find it one day there. So the salmon said, I'll bury it at the bottom of the ocean. Creator responded again, no, they're going to go there too. Then the buffalo chimed in and he said, I'll bury it in the Great Plains. The Creator responded, they'll cut into the earth and find it even there. Then lastly, Grandmother Mole, who lives in the breast of Mother Earth, who has no physical eyes but sees with spiritual eyes, said, put it inside of them. The Creator said, it is done. The parable is obviously very significant, very much reflects everything that I've brought forth and have been saying. It's a similar parable in many regards to the one I presented in that short work titled The Lost Needle. What so many are searching for in the external, but can only be found within. And so this message has been brought forth by many over the eons. The same message. The question always being not just who has received it, but who has walked that path to know this truth for themselves. Anyone can point in the direction of that path to say, go within, the kingdom is within. But unless one walks that path for themselves, these words are meaningless. They don't mean anything. It just becomes a bumper sticker, a Hallmark card. It sounds nice on the surface. Yeah, go within. That's where it is. And then maybe one can feel a slight lift inside of themselves, a tiny little bit of inspiration for a moment, but nothing's actually changed, not truly. This goes back to what I've meant by everything changing or nothing changing. When one walks that path, everything changes as you're walking it. To truly go within. And of course, the external becomes more of a reflection of the realization of how much is not changing externally with all those that one finds around them, what we call humanity. My brothers and sisters, my neighbors, my friends, my coworkers, everyone that we are around in the external world that we find ourselves in. So that's the struggle. The more one changes inwardly, if one has chosen to walk this path, the struggle becomes, I'm changing more and more, and now I would very much like to see that change happen external to myself. But that's not happening, because who's interested in walking this path that's been described? Well, so very few, if any. That is the problem. And so that becomes, or can become, quite frustrating, obviously, because one sees, look, I'm doing all this work, I'm making all these adjustments, and I would like to see all of that happen outside of me now, but I have no power to do that. Again, this draws back into what I said. What power does one have? If I speak for myself, I only have the power that I have, which is, in essence, basically no power at all to change the external reality. I would love to see everything change in regards to the activity of humanity the way it's currently set up, but that's not in my power to do so. I can't reach inside of anyone and change them. I cannot say, go within and change everything inside of you. Well, that's impossible. I could run around like a chicken with my head cut off, screaming at everyone, go within. You need to change everything. But that's not going to do anything except get people to look at me as if I'm a lunatic. I've lost it. That's all that's going to do. Yeah, one obviously can surmise, well, that'll get you locked up. Of course it will. That's exactly correct. It'll get you locked up if you start doing that. And that draws into a very relevant point of something very significant that was demonstrated in the lessons of the dark classroom, when the classroom went dark. And my willingness, absolutely, as I said, my willingness to completely throw myself under the bus for a spiritual lesson, 100%. So, how did I do that? Well, it should be obvious how I did that. I did that in so many ways. But the point I want to draw attention to, one of the most relevant points, and I feel it's been demonstrated now, and the point of what I've been saying for so many years has to have been drawn out now. It has to have been proven out. The absolute danger of following prophets and saviors, those external to oneself, that they say they know exactly what's going to happen in the future, and I am the way to salvation. The whole basis of what being a savior, someone who's propped up as a savior, is all about. They say they know the way, they know exactly what's going to happen in the future, and they need to be followed. Follow me. I am the one and only way out of this situation. And unless you follow me, exactly me and only me, then you're going to be damned. And not just damned, but damned for all of eternity. I mean, that's the message. Obviously, even we look at religion as a whole, Christianity in particular, follow me, my exact path, or be damned to eternal hell, hellfire. Well, that's as extreme as it gets. That's the message of that savior. There's no savior. And of course, it's said, yeah, that's the message of Jesus. And what does he fulfill? He fulfills the role of a prophet. He's the one and only ultimate teacher. He is God, quite actually and literally. I am God. I am the one and only ultimate teacher. I know all, I see all. This is exactly what's going to happen in the future. Follow me. I am the one and only way. And this is just absurd. So I absolutely, 100% threw myself under the bus For what reason? It should be so obvious. No one is a prophet or a savior. No one saying, this is exactly what's going to happen in the future. Follow me. I'm the one and only way. Or else. And it's just absurd. The spiritual lesson, the teaching, follow no one. You're listening to someone in the external. They're saying they're the ultimate teacher. They know what's going to happen in the future. That's a fallacy. In the external, we can inference, we can try to take guesses at what the future will hold. There's nothing wrong with speculation per se. That's fine. But to say definitively, this is exactly what's going to happen, well, that's just absolutely absurd. And I threw myself under the bus hard in that way. Completely. This is exactly what's going to happen. And of course, that's not going to happen. Of course not. I am no savior. Follow me exactly here along this exact path, or else it's going to be hell forever. I'm not the ultimate teacher. I'm not God. As I said, to say that one is God, that is the ultimate form of hubris. That's the truth. This is about getting rid of hubris. That's been the teaching. If any of you listening experienced the dark classroom live as it was happening, that was far more fortunate, because those who have been walking with me for years, listening to what I've brought forth, to all the messages, something significant could have happened, could have been stirred in you to have finalized the realization of what I mean by there being no saviors, no prophets, none whatsoever. So if it's asked, what's going to happen this summer? Are the taps getting shut off? No. None of that is going to happen. That's the point. This is what I mean by throwing myself under the bus completely. And anyone who would come back at me and saying, oh, he's retracting, he's taking it back, they're not understanding. They're not understanding the significance of the spiritual lesson. That's the point. The path of spirituality, it teaches lessons in a far different way. I reflect the teachings that occur within my heart, the way the Spirit teaches me these lessons. And so I do my best on this platform. Again, it is this ridiculous YouTube, the internet. I do my utmost to reflect that lesson back out to whoever wants to hear it, the message. That's what I'm doing. This path is not for everyone. I'm going to say that right now, and that should be so obvious. Most individuals absolutely are not ready to walk this path, and the level of seriousness that it takes. It disrupts the course of what one thinks they know over and over and over and over again. When you think, oh, I got it figured out, think again. One doesn't have anything figured out. It's about learning more and more and more, expanding the vision more and more and more. The path of knowledge. That's why expelling this whole concept of saviors or prophets, anyone who thinks they know, This is the one and only path. Follow me. That's a fiction. That's a lie. Anyone who says that, they're a liar. All the way through. A devil will tell you that. That's what a devil will say. That's why the parable that I gave here at the beginning, that's why it's so important. The path can be pointed at. It can be indicated, which is the same place. The truth is within you. Within every last one of us. But that path, this spiritual path, is not easy. It is arduous. It takes one's entire effort to walk this path every single day. Every moment of every day. There is nothing easy about it. Nothing. That's why I said one cannot be lazy. To choose the path of the heart, the crown of the heart, that's the most difficult path that one can take, by far. And to start walking it, to choose the crown of the heart, well, that's the most significant choice one can make. And that's what I meant by actions speak to eternity. It's going to be your actions that prove that out. Am I actually walking on the path of the heart? And how does that look? I've described how it looks for me, which of course, as I've found the path of the heart, it has changed the course of my actions more and more and more. The more I've corrected my vision inside, the more I've found the correct course of action that I should be taking, that I should have always been taking for my whole life. The mind says, no, go in these directions instead, follow me. All of its goals, all of its desires, all of its selfishness. And of course, that's one of the root aspects of following and going along the path of the heart, is to be selfless in your actions, in all of your actions. But one has to start somewhere. Start with being a little less selfish, a little more selfless, and build upon that. That's building the kingdom within, the true kingdom. But unless one starts walking that path, I mean truly walking it, all of my words are empty. The whole message is going to be pointless. And there's so much that was drawn out when the classroom went dark. So many angles that still haven't been seen that I'm going to talk about in the next messages. Really, I could honestly talk about those angles for years to come. There's so much to draw from. That's been what I've wondered. Who has seen the angles and who has received the true message? And it's honestly, it cannot be my concern who has or who hasn't received it. That's an individual choice for whoever is listening to this message. I can't control who this message comes to or who finds it. I have no control over any of these factors whatsoever. I never have. It's no different than in my own personal search for truth. No one controlled the direction of what I found or did not find. Sometimes I would get suggestions from people, let's say to read a book or to watch a documentary, let's say, and then it was my choice whether I did so or not, or whether I was going to extrapolate anything from it. Just as it's always been my choice in my life to take anything seriously or not. This is exactly what I mean by it's a choice whether one wants to take themselves seriously and what this path truly means. To walk with me or to walk with anyone on the spiritual path, it doesn't mean you have to physically be beside them. A good example I'll give right now is I've walked with Jiddu Krishnamurti for many years. I've walked with him. Of course, I haven't physically walked with him. That's impossible. Nevertheless, I've walked with him for many years. And he's been a friend to me in many regards. He's had much to teach me, and I'm very grateful that he crossed paths with me, that I found him at a very important point in my life that helped me find the truth within myself in so many ways. And really, he came upon this aspect, this notion of the danger of prophets and saviors in his own experience. It's so obvious if anyone knows his story and how the Theosophical Society was setting him up to be the world teacher, and obviously all the implications of that. And so he could see that. You're setting me up to be a world teacher. You're setting me up to be this Messiah, this savior. I'm going to save the world. My goodness. You want to place that burden on me? That absurdity? And of course, he wanted absolutely nothing to do with that. And so in 1929, if I remember correctly, he disbanded that organization set up around him to become this world teacher. He said, truth is a pathless land in his speech. That was the main point of the message, which is really the same message that I've always brought forth. The truth is within you, and the path that you walk in the physical, in your experience, in your reality, in your world, is your path. Your walk is your walk, just as mine is mine. So I can't say, do this, do that. I can't say that for anyone. That's absurd. I don't know anyone's situation. I don't know how much even energy anyone has in a given day to do anything. That's like quite literally saying, I am God. And I know for every individual the perfect and ultimate way to do things and to find the heart and to walk the truth. Of course, I don't know that. But I'm bringing forth a message that the truth is within you and it is the path of the heart. But how that looks for you, for anyone listening, well, that's going to be different for you. How that path is walked. How your whole journey is going to look. I am no Messiah. I am no savior. I am no ultimate teacher. I've had many teachers along my path in my life, and I've presented many of them. I've just spoken about one in particular that had a very significant impact on my journey thus far. And how he disbanded that whole idea, that whole notion of external saviors. This is one of the examples, his story, where I learned that lesson. And the dangers of that. So I very much hope that anyone who has their eye to an external savior, and you've been listening to my messages, and especially if you experienced the dark classroom live as it was happening and something shook you up, maybe you were ready to physically walk with me. You absolutely were ready. I'm going to pack it up. I'm following that guy right there. He's the way. And you were ready to do that. Something had to be stirred inside of you. This whole notion, again, that I'm God, I'm the ultimate savior. Here's the exit door from this place. We're about to check out. Everything is coming down. The apocalypse is going to happen tomorrow, it might as well be said. And if one was stirred up, you were ready to do that? Well, it means that something significant is happening inside of you, that you're ready for change, for one, like to truly change. And that's a good thing. But the change, again, has to be within yourself. The tables have to be turned within you. We cannot wait for everyone else to change outside of us. This whole external reality, this society, this is not, as I've said before, this is not turning around. And I'll get into all of the aspects, the other reflections in the dark classroom that I showed, that I talked about in regards to that, and why we can try to change the vision within every last individual till our last breath. It's not going to happen. That's not why things are set up the way they are. That's not the point. One must find that truth within themselves, turn the tables within you. Change the vision within yourself. And you're going to find that your external walk is also going to change. And you very well may feel the same frustrations of the external not following suit. The more that you change inside, the more that you walk the path of the heart. But that frustration, one needs to let go of that frustration. It's just the fact the vast majority of people are not interested in changing anything at all. Not whatsoever. And that's why I reiterate that's not the point. This is why individual effort very much is what matters. The effort to have cut through so much of the dark. So many deceptions, so many lies in the external, which reflect back to the internal. How many lies people get caught in. How much darkness, how much deception. I've talked about all of these things such as goal chasing, all of the disease pleasures, as I've said, all of that, just chase after all of that, putting money in a bank account, building your little empire in the kingdom of death. And one gets caught in doing all of that, well, there's no time to go within. If one is busy in the external doing all of that, there's just not going to be any time and energy to focus on what really matters. To find that truth within, to find your heart, turn the tables, correct the vision, walk the path of selflessness, drop the ego, drop the hubris. See that there is a much bigger vision at work here, far bigger than one can imagine. Lose again this whole hubristic idea, this notion that one is God. I'm God. I'm going to create everything. As I said already, one has to come down to earth. This is in many ways about doing ordinary impossibilities. The kingdom, the true kingdom, is held in common. So what does every last one of us, what do every last one of us hold in common? What power do we have? We have the power to change what's inside of us, how we approach things. We have the power, every last one of us has the power to be selfless as opposed to selfish in whatever capacity that we can. If I can help someone who has nothing, if I can lift them up, if I have the power and the capacity to do that, then I'm going to do that. Then I do that. Or one follows the crown of the mind, takes up that crown for the rest of their days, and continues to be selfish in every way possible. Continue building your empire, keep piling that stockpile of money in your bank account, think that's the ultimate meaning. Again, I'm not telling anyone what to do. Everyone's going to do what they're going to do. I'm not saying quit your job, become homeless. I'm not saying or suggesting to do anything like that. Not whatsoever. When you actually find your heart truly, you're going to understand what it means for you to be selfless. I can't tell you what that's going to look like or what that is going to mean. And everyone has what they have to give within themselves, and including, obviously, the things that matter to this world. Money, materialism, etc. All of these things. So on one's path of selflessness, if you have any of these tools to help anyone out that has nothing, and that comes across your path, or perhaps you seek it out, you're seeking out others who have nothing and you want to help them, well, good on you for doing that. And one is going to realize, if you choose to do that, and you come across many individuals who have nothing or very little, and you're able to help them, you're going to find that it's tremendously heartbreaking. Tremendously. Because that's what this path is all about as well. It's the path of the broken heart. And the more one walks on that path, the more one's 20/20 glasses are going to be put on. And then eventually you turn right around 180 degrees and you finally see what I meant by one's 20/20 glasses are going to hit hard. And it's going to break your heart. But this path is not for everyone. And I'm not suggesting even that one walk on this path to choose the crown of the heart, as opposed to continuing to choose the crown of the mind, walking on that path. I'm not suggesting that whatsoever. I'm not suggesting anything. Again, unsubscribe to me. Stop listening. I'm no savior. I'm no Messiah. I am a nobody. I repeat these things like a broken record for a very good reason. And I know those who have listened to me over the years in complete seriousness. You understand this. It's the way that I listened to someone like a Jiddu Krishnamurti. I gave my whole attention when I listened to those talks, when I read his books. My entire undivided attention was given when I was walking with that individual. There's so much that's important being said here, so much that I can learn. I need to give my absolute undivided attention to this. And then, after I would read, say, some chapters of some of his works or had finished watching a lecture of his, I would often go for a walk and I would contemplate on what was said, and I would reflect that back out in terms of what I was doing in my life at the time. How does this apply to what I'm doing right now as I'm walking this journey of life, where I am? The whole thing. And I did that often, every day. I'm still doing this same walk every day. It's no different. And I would contemplate, how does applying any of this change what I'm doing? And of course it changed pretty much everything that I was doing. More and more and more. My walk looked different every single day. The more I changed within myself. And those insights continued to spark within me. Insight is hard won. It is not easy. One can hear a message. You can listen to someone who it's obvious they have that insight within them. You can listen to everything that they've ever had to say. It does not mean that that insight has sparked within oneself, the listener. There's no guarantee of that. It's a matter of effort again. But there is a good reason why, when one has had that insight within them, why they felt this need to share that with the world, to share it with whoever would hear this insight, this treasure that's been found. Of course, this is what I call the heart. What I've come to know is the truth within myself. And for anyone out there, perhaps you're going to say that's not the truth at all. I found a different truth. Well, that's fine. I'm not telling you that your truth is a false truth. I'm not going to say that. I'm not judging anyone. Again, you're going to find what you're going to find, and your truth is yours. Judgment is so much a part of the problem. So much. That's why I said when the classroom was dark as well, I'm not looking for arguments, not whatsoever. Your statements to eternity are yours and yours alone. And the loudest statements to eternity are one's actions. Actions speak to eternity. And inaction also speaks to eternity. Inaction speaks even louder to eternity. In my view, again, this is my belief. Always my belief, my view, just what I'm presenting within myself. I am not the ultimate teacher. There's no such thing. No such thing at all, anywhere, ever. I've had many in my journey who I have called teachers, or who I have considered to be teachers. To me, I presented many of them. I'll probably present many more in the messages to come. No one has it all figured out. No one has the whole vision. The only ones who have the whole vision, that's our true creators, as I've said. And again, I say that just in my belief, in my view. You might think there are no creators. There's no God. We're just here alone. There's no one but us. Well, that's fine. I'm not going to say that you're wrong. I'm not looking for an argument. I'm not looking for an argument from anyone. This channel, this YouTube channel, this is a reflection of my kingdom within. So any who come on here, you're going to come on this channel, type in your comments. See it like this, and this is the truth. It's as if you're stepping into the front entryway of my kingdom. You're coming into my house, but only the front entryway. You're coming into my house. And some of you come at me like a devil with all of your judgment and your hatred. All this darkness. So many come at me like that. Insults, the whole thing. I'm not stepping into any of your houses looking for an argument, looking to insult you. I'm not doing that. Anyone who says that I have ever done that is a liar. I've never done that. I've never stepped into any of your houses looking for an argument, looking to change your view, change your mind. Anyone who says they have proof of me doing that, that's a fallacy. There is no proof because I've never done that. This channel is a reflection of the entryway to my kingdom. And I'm talking at the entryway. Here's the message that I'm bringing forth. And if there's anyone who wants to listen to it, well, that's fine. 100%. Just as I've always presented, you have the choice to stop listening and just leave. Unsubscribe. Ignore me altogether. Completely ignore me. Just as you have the choice to do that towards anyone. Absolutely anyone or anything. That's a choice. But those coming into my house, on my channel, and coming at me like a devil, saying I owe them. That's the attitude of so many. You owe me. What do I owe anyone? I have nothing. I have absolutely nothing. And I've poured my intensity into bringing spiritual lessons forth for everyone who's been ready for them. And if you're not ready for them, then it's time to stop listening. It was time a long time ago to stop listening, coming into my house, into my entryway, and then saying that, what, that I owe you? As if someone has purchased something. You went into a store, you purchased something from me, and you're bringing back your receipt. I want my money back. It's just ridiculous. I've sold no one anything. Nothing. There are no receipts. This has all been done freely. I've said that many times. That's the truth. That's just so obvious. No monetization, even on this ridiculous YouTube. There's no receipts anywhere. What can be owed? I don't owe anyone anything. Again, it's been a choice for you to have listened to anything I've brought forth or not listened. That's personal responsibility again. A big lesson also given in the dark classroom. Blame is lame. You owe me. That's a joke. That's an absolute joke. It's the same attitude of the devil going at the earth. You owe me, earth. I'm going to hack you to pieces. You owe me. It's just absurd. And that is the reflection of how the earth is being treated, as I present it over and over again. Going at the earth like a devil, like an absolute devil, saying, I'm going to put price tags on you, earth, because you owe me. Not seeing the earth as sacred. That's what it means to see something as sacred, and you treat it as sacred. You don't treat it like a piece of garbage. That's so many treat each other as well, as just pieces of garbage. Just throwing each other around, just no respect, no regard whatsoever. The word respect, that's what it means. It means to see the other. This is also what I meant by walking a minute in someone else's shoes that has nothing. How many haven't done that whatsoever? That's why I talk about the governments and the politicians of the world, the billionaires. How many look up to them? You're the greatest. You have everything. I want to be like you. Those people are a joke. They're an absolute joke. Eternity laughs at those individuals, absolutely laughs at them. They are the biggest clowns in this whole shit show. Anyone following those individuals, worshiping them, my goodness. Those are not heroes. Those are not people to be looking up to. Saying that one would wish that they could trade places with them. I wish I was that billionaire. I would love to be them. Again, wow. That's your wish? That's your desire? Well, again, there's an adage, be careful what you wish for. Maybe you will get your opportunity. People throwing the intensity of their energy in their life to become like that, to become those types of individuals, chasing after these ridiculous goals, not seeing what this is all about. So I'm going to leave it at that for today. There's again a lot more reflections I'm going to draw out that I never talked about while the classroom was dark, that will become more obvious why I said what I said during that time and the deeper meaning of it all, which hopefully in this message I've proved out one of the most fundamental and important aspects of what was proven out with those messages. No prophets, no saviors. The truth is within, the same message. Go into the parable, the significance of the parable given here at the beginning of this message. It's truly significant. There's a lot to unpack there. It's not just something to understand on the surface. There is a great depth to that. All right, take care, everyone. Stay safe. I'll talk to you all again soon.